One of the more recent questions is that seems to get a lot more attention these days is can Muslim women marry outside the Islamic faith? And why are Muslim men allowed to? So the Imams, of course, they suck at addressing these sort of questions. They don't do it from any rational perspective. Most of them are even too afraid to broach the subject. Yasser Qadi, the compassionate Imam, he goes on this rant on YouTube where you should allow Kafar Dave around your kids and stuff so that you don't lose your cousin or sister, whoever married out, which is so absurd. So a couple assumptions. First off, during the Prophet Muhammad's time, there is a number of instances where they married a mushrik spouse because, there's not a large number of Christians there at this point. And so one of the issues was he would always ask her to separate, and if this separation he did not convert, he would have her divorce. And actually, there's a hadith I remember, I can't find, and if anybody could find it, where he actually ordered a Muslim convert to divorce her Christian husband. And if I remember correctly, it's from Najash, the couple, so Ethiopia. So there was actually an instance I remember in Hadith where this happened, where he asked them to divorce Christian spouse. More importantly, it wouldn't be allowed during that time for pagans, Muslims, Jews, etc. anyways. And during Umar ibn al-Khattab's time, he actually forbade the marriage of both Umar ibn al-Khattab and Ibn Umar forbade the marriage of a Muslimah to a Christian man. There are instances of this. Umar ibn al-Khattab, also incidentally, him being one of the awliya and the companions of the Prophet, he actually forbade the marriage of Muslim men towards Christian women in Syria because they were outside of Dar al-Islam. They were in Dar al-Kufr, the lands of Kufr, the non-Muslim majority places, basically where Muslims are a diaspora. So that's some of the foundations of this. Some of the arguments I've seen for this have been that, we could find a scholar who has a fatwa that says it's allowed, and the Quran says don't marry mushrikeen. This is a very bizarre opinion for a lot of reasons. So first off, you're going fatwa shopping. I could find an imam that says doing certain drugs that are objectively have a high toxicology in my body. They are halal. That doesn't make it morally right? Um, and so even historically, when there was a difference of opinion in Sharia, it's usually the majority opinion that was adopted. And so a lot of these people will say, well, because it's not explicitly condemned in the Quran that it's allowed. Again, this contrasts the majority of Sharia opinion from the time of the first companions of the Prophet. And it's kind of like the Supreme Court, right, in the United States. You could have 4 justices for abortion, you could have 3 against it, and the majority opinion beats out. That's not a flaw in Islam. It's just a reality of allowing differences in legal opinion. And I think culturally as well, I just see every day, like a number of young Muslims who seem to think that dating and not marrying non-Muslims is absolutely fine. Yeah, their real religion, like a lot of Christians around us, is liberalism, and they think that that seems to carry no consequences whatsoever, personally or on a community scale. If you look at American Jews, the vast majority of their diaspora came with the Soviet migration in the 60s, and their population has actually shrunk a little bit in the United States because of intermarriage. And so how do you justify this even from a very progressive stance, that you're essentially killing your diaspora off with intermarriage, your kids? I mean, they had a meta study at I think it was like a Lutheran university. I could look it up, but in essence, they cross-reference all these differences: Catholic, Lutheran, Muslim, etc. And the identity of the children with their parents' faith was so low. The biggest single identity, 43% were agnostics. So I don't see, even from a completely non-faith perspective, how this is a good thing. There's also a bizarre aspect in popular culture, let's say with misgendering and stuff and pronouns, that other people have to participate in your self-esteem. So I want to ask these Muslims who are fine with marrying out, Muslims or Muslimas, um, why do we have to participate in your self-esteem? We Religion is just seems like it's an accessory to you. So why do we have to accept your child being born out of you know a zina, a haram relationship? And overall, I think these people should be boycotted. I don't even see a lot of uh, evidence for men, but I have to say the evidence for men is slightly better. So one of the reasons I think Allah Ta'ala allowed men to marry out but not women is it's a real sweet answer. Hypergamy. I mean, Muslim women are still women, and hypergamy is aiming for the top men. And one of the things Gary Buss in his book The Evolution of Desire points out, Strategies of Human Mating, is that in social status, women overwhelmingly compared to men. I mean, there's like 70% difference when they asked women across 186 societies. They invariably chose a man who commands high social status. And in the West and the diaspora, there's going to be a white male. And so Islam recognizes this nature of women and it tries to remedy. It says, hey, we accept social status, we accept hypergamy, but you have to be able to ideologically bring that into our community, or else in the diaspora, as Islam grows, as its borders of Darul Islam increase, we're gonna lose the cohesiveness of the family and social unit in Islam. That's the short answer.